Hi everybody. Welcome to
Praise the Lord and pass the plate.
Today we're making corn fritters.
Corn fritters.
Corn
I hadn't had
fritters.
those since I was a kid. Those are good.
Daddy's wanting me to make some corn fritters. So
So what all we got?
we have flour. We have all-purpose flour, 1 cup, already measured out.
Okay.
Now what's next? Let's see.
Let me let you.
There's 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of sugar, already measured out, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of salt. That's in here, right?
Yep.
Okay, half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and then where's my
What are you looking for?
whisk?
Whisk. It should be right behind you, baby.
Right behind me.
Right behind you.
Right behind me. Then you just kind of whisk it up a little bit. Okay, then we have 1½ tablespoons of butter, and it's been melted.
Melted butter.
Melted butter.
We'll have all this, guys. I'll put it in the description below the video, so you'll.
1 egg. Beat your egg.
Well beaten. Sounds
Well
like
beaten.
me.
Well beaten egg. Okay. And put it in there. And it's all sticking into the whisk. Kind of sticks in the middle of it. I was supposed to use the whisk for the flour, but not for the rest of it. See, I'm supposed to use that fork for that. I am kind of clumsy in the kitchen.
Maybe we should have named it the Clumsy Kitchen.
Yep.
That would have covered both of us.
Well, when you say Iva's kitchen, that's just goes to. It's the same thing.
All right. So what else we got to put in there?
Well, now we add. She said 1/2 to 1 cup of milk, so I'm going to add about 1/2 cup until I see how much I need after I add the corn, because the corn has the milk, corn milk from it, so you just have to see what it looks like. Okay, how's that look so far?
Look very good yet.
But you gotta add the corn. I have 2 cups of corn, fresh cut off the cob.
You can use any corn, guys. Canned corn, frozen corn. But the fresh, if you're an old man like me and you want the corn fritters, you remember when you was a kid, they had that really corn taste because we used fresh corn back then.
Cut it right off the cob.
Cut it off the cob. Make sure you don't get too close so you get cob in it. But don't worry about getting it too close, because what you're going to do once you get it all off the cob is go back behind yourself on the cob and use the back side of the knife and scrape the cob. That gets any leftover corn off, and it gets that milk that's close to the cob. It's really, really good. And that'll also affect the amount of milk you put in.
That looks pretty good right there.
That's looking pretty good, baby.
So do you want
pick it up
me-
like you're going to drop it in the skillet. Let's see what it looks like. That's a little thick. Now, if it's thicker like this, it's going to make a thicker fritter. If you like them a little bit thinner, then put a little bit more milk.
Do you want to make some both?
Let me check this burner. Hard to tell, isn't it? I'm going to turn this one down. real low.
Yeah.
Probably
Want me to
turn
stir
it
it?
off as far as that goes. Now you could drop just a little piece in here and see what it does. That's our, I don't want to get
They're
the fog
field,
on the lens.
field peas and snaps.
Field peas and snaps. And corn fritters. And fresh tomatoes.
Mmm.
If you had a Vidalia corn, man, you'd be right uptown. I mean, Vidalia onion,
I do.
which I don't think we
Vidalia
do.
Okay. Now, do you want me to put a dab in there? And
Yeah, let's drop a little bit in there. Just a little. Make a little baby one.
oh, it's
All right, see how that's sizzling?
starting to sizzle.
That means it's ready. And there's just enough oil in there to cover the bottom. There's not,
You don't use too much oil.
you're not deep frying them. If you deep fry them, as someone said, you come out with a different form of a hush puppy. You don't want that. You want more of like a pancake style. And again, you can make them thicker, thinner.
Okay. Do I use this?
Yeah.
Is that hot enough?
Looks like it to me. Just put about 3 in there for now. Kind of keep them away from each other. There you go.
Yeah.
Might check that lid one. While those are frying up, guys, let me. I was listening to our pastor down in Florida, or used to be pastor, I guess, down in Florida.
Oh,
And last night, during country church, and he was talking about 2 Corinthians, and just kind of an overview, without going back and reading all that, because we don't have quite that much time, but if you want to read it, it's just 2 Corinthians chapter 12. It's a real good read when you think about God using you, and well, what it starts out talking about is Paul, the Apostle Paul. He went to the church in Corinth, and of course that's what the whole books of Corinthians are about. He's talking to those churches up in there. And he's been away for a while, and he goes back and finding out, I guess, that they've got these people coming in that, they know, supposedly they know all these things, and they speak real, and people are starting to follow them instead of Jesus. So, again, kind of in short, he's saying, and the only place you'll find this is 2 Corinthians chapter 12, where he starts to tell them, like, I could brag. It won't do me any good, but, I'll brag. It won't do anybody any good, but I'll brag. So, he starts telling them that he went up to the third heaven, and he heard things that was unlawful for any man to hear. I'm trying to get your cakes there. For any man to hear. And he didn't know whether he was in his body or out of his body, but he knew he was there, and he saw things and heard things. But what he's telling them is, that doesn't mean anything. That shouldn't mean anything. God uses you most when you're the most humble. He'll empty you out when you just get completely humbled down and none of yourself. When you take all of yourself out of yourself and it's all about Jesus, then he can use you. But as long as, every other thing you say when you're trying to tell someone about Christ starts with an I then instead of Jesus, then you might want to go back and read that chapter 12 in 2 Corinthians. And I had that pulled up. I think my battery's about dead, but the very last verse, I'm trying to hold this camera with one hand and look at my Bible verse in the other one, and I just can't do it.
I got to turn these, but they're not.
But anyway, it's just about emptying yourself out and being humble. And the same thing goes if you're a sinner and you want to come to the Lord. You have to come off. I mean, body, spirit, heart, soul, everything is emptied out. And the only thing that matters to you is heaven and Jesus and God. And when you do that, and you ask Christ to forgive you of your sins, then He can work with you. Then He can draw you. Then He can save you. But if you go in there thinking, yeah, I'd like to be saved, and start putting all kinds of worldly things in there or personal things in there, then that's not going to happen. So go read 2 Corinthians chapter 12, and just read the whole chapter. But when you get down to verse 9, and that's what I was trying to pull up, look at that verse 9, because it kind of caps the rest of it off.
Turning the wrong way.
The little baby one's done. And that's the way it should look. See how golden brown that is on both sides? Yummy. I mean, it's just a bite. And it's hot.
It was hard to turn these because they were browning on one side and not on the other side.
Okay, why don't you add just a little bit of mix while those are cooking? Add a little bit more milk to those so they come out a little bit thinner. And maybe that'll help on the next one.
So the rest of the milk? Or do you...
Most of the rest of it. See, put about half of what you got left in there and then stir it around a little bit and see what you got.
Okay. About half of what I got in here.
Yeah. Now, show us what that looks like.
That's a lot thinner.
Pick it up with your fork. See what that looks like.
It just runs right off.
Runs off your fork. Okay, so those are going to be a little bit thinner, and probably cook just a little bit better. And there's that little.
You want to eat that, don't you?
Not only do I want to eat that, I am going to eat that. Mmm. That is good.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. Okay, I think I'm going to flip this one back over again, because it didn't.
I think I'm going to move out of the way.
I think you probably should. There you go. Oh, look.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a lot of corn fritters, guys.
We're going to have a lot of corn fritters.
If there's anybody close, come get your corn fritters.
So do these need to come out? This one's not cooking as good as the other two. Are these ready to come out?
I think that one back there is.
This one?
Back, yeah. The top looks good. What does the bottom look like? Oh, yeah. Take that dude out of there.
Okay. Put it on paper towels.
Yeah, we got them on paper towels. Just kind of drain them. Or you could use like a little baker's rack or something. Would be okay, too.
It's a shot.
Top goes the corn fritter.
That scared me. Oh, there's your little one again. Flip it over on itself. Here, I think that one's done. Okay. Okay. Let's see
All right. And there's still plenty of oil in there. That looks good.
Try to get the little, I don't want those to burn. I gotta get the little corn.
I know what you're doing because you like the little crunchy things.
I do like the little crunchy things. Okay.
Yeah,
Now-
use that ladle.
Do I need a little more oil in there?
I don't think so. I think it's okay. Just put one in there and see what happens. Put it over in the oil. May have to put just a tad, but not much.
A little bit? Or a
Huh?
whole?
No. Use the ladle. I'm sorry. I was talking
You're
about
confusing me.
I was talking about the oil.
You're confusing me. Like this?
Yep.
Okay, let's see.
Now that should.
Oh my goodness, it's hot.
Yeah, see, it spreads right out. You don't have to mash it
It's
down
hot
or
now.
anything. I wouldn't put more. Put one about the opposite. That's all I'd put in that, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Good.
I think those are probably bigger than they need to be.
Yep. That's all right. Well, okay, guys. So you see how the thinner, and that was what? About a cup of milk.
It wasn't a whole cup of milk. It was about
Yeah.
3/4 of. I put about a half a
Tilt
cup.
it again and show.
I put about a half a cup, and then I put half of that again. So 3/4 a cup for all the whole time.
All right. So that's beginning. We'll be back in a little bit once we get the rest of these fried up. And we're back. And there's our little dinner for tonight. We got some field peas with snaps. We have our corn fritter, and we got tomatoes.
Right
And
out of
we
our
still
garden.
got some more on the stove. So
We picked these tomatoes off the
the
vine.
tomatoes came right off the vine today. We got some fresh tomatoes. Now, for y'all that don't know about YouTube and how it works, if you're watching this right now, if you look down below, there's a like button. Please click that. There's a subscribe button. Click on that. And if you want to hit that little bell over there, that'll remind you when we have a new video out. And of course, for you guys that are YouTubers already, you know all about that. But seems like we have new ones coming on. We hit 20 subscribers today, guys, and we're just on cloud 9. You know, we're watching these people with, 100,000 subscribers, and that's cool, but we're little Eddie and Ivan. We get excited when we hit 20. So one of these days we'll be up there. But again,